And from the war in the Middle East to the war in Europe, tensions are rising as the United States considers supplying Ukraine with long-range Tomahawk cruise missiles, a move that could escalate the conflict with Russia. Vice President JD Vance said on Sunday that Washington was reviewing a Ukrainian request for these missiles, which have a range of 1,500 miles, enough to reach Moscow if fired from Ukraine.
I wanted the Europeans to step up in a big way. I wanted us, the United States, to stop shoveling money and weaponry to a conflict that was so far away when I felt like the Europeans, with all due respect for them, were not actually taking their fair share of the burden. Because of the president's leadership, you now have the Europeans buying weaponry from the United States as opposed to us giving it.
The president, however, has not made a final decision, but discussions reflect his frustration over Russian President Vladimir Putin's refusal to agree to a ceasefire after their Alaska summit. Meanwhile, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has urged the U.S. to supply the missiles to European countries, which could then transfer them to Ukraine. Keith Kellogg, who is a special envoy for Ukraine, confirmed Zelensky's request, adding that it's going to be up to the president to do it.
Decision has not been made, but he's asked. I know that President Zelensky did, in fact, ask for them, which was confirmed by a social media post by Vice President Vance. That's going to be up to the president to do it.
And naturally, the Kremlin has expressed serious concern over the potential delivery of Tomahawks. Spokesman Dmitry Peskov questioned who would launch the missiles and who would determine the targeting, the Ukrainians or Americans, stressing that a very in-depth analysis is in fact needed.
We have indeed heard these statements. We are now carefully analyzing them. They must be analyzed in terms of course, our military specialists are closely monitoring this. The question, as before, is the following: who can launch these missiles? Even if they are located on the territory controlled by the Kyiv regime, can they be launched solely by Ukrainians, or must they be operated by American military personnel? Who is setting the targeting for these missiles? Is it the American side or the Ukrainians themselves?
Now, Russian officials have previously warned that any country allowing Ukraine to strike Russian territory could be targeted. And the head of the Russian Parliament's Defense Committee said any U.S. military specialists assisting Ukraine would become targets themselves, adding that no one will protect them, not Trump, not Kellogg, nor anyone else. Despite these warnings, U.S. officials have signaled support for Ukraine's ability to carry out long-range strikes. But now, apart from that massive range, the Tomahawk missiles also have subsonic speed of about 550 miles per hour, and they can be launched from ships or submarines in flight altitudes as low as 30 to 50 meters to avoid radar detection. In fact, the missiles were used by the U.S. during a strike on Iran's 3 nuclear sites back in June. President Putin, meanwhile, said Russian forces are prevailing in what he called a righteous battle, emphasizing that the entire country is united in defending its interest.
Today, to protect this choice, our fighters and commanders go on the attack, and the entire country, all of Russia, is waging this righteous battle and working hard. Together we are defending our love for the motherland and the unity of our historical destiny. We are fighting and we are prevailing.
The conflict still shows no signs of ending as recent attacks illustrate the growing threat. During a 12-hour assault, Moscow fired hundreds of drones and nearly 50 missiles, killing 4 people in Kyiv and injuring at least 70. Ukrainian officials warn that Russia's use of advanced drones is bypassing current defense systems, and intercepting these weapons is becoming increasingly difficult. So as the U.S. weighs providing Tomahawks and Ukraine seeks stronger defenses, the conflict risks expanding even further. The coming decision by Washington, however, could dramatically alter the war's trajectory.
Firstpost now available in 9 languages on YouTube. English,
$36 trillion.
French,
Le FMI, comme
German,
Geschäftsführenden Direktor,
Hindi,
$30 trillion ka kaljo.
Indonesian,
Pemerintah tanpa pemeriksaan.
Italian,
Skali radikali.
Japanese,
$1
Portuguese,
por causa do próprio balanço patrimonial.
Spanish.
Beautiful bill.
Go to Settings, click on Audio Track and select the language of your choice. Be the first to know what's happening around you in your first language. Firstpost.